"You don't belong in that seat, girl." The words hit the cabin before Ariana Holt even has the chance to buckle her seatbelt. Air Marshal Grant Devereaux, 42, white, crew cut, chest puffed with authority, stands in the first-class aisle glaring at her, his voice dripping with the kind of contempt that turns a room cold. He doesn't yell, but every passenger can hear him. He wants them to. He layers the insult with others, vile comparisons about kids like you, implying she must have wandered in from coach, that her kind only gets near first class if they're cleaning it, not sitting in it. He doesn't use slurs outright, but the meaning is unmistakable. His tone slices through the quiet cabin like a blade. Passengers freeze. Some glance, some pretend not to. Ariana, 16, black, soft brown skin, sky blue hoodie, sits quietly in seat 1A, holding her boarding pass with trembling hands, though she hides the tremble well. She has been raised on restraint. Her father, Elias Holt, CEO of the Airline, taught her to meet ugliness with dignity. But coming face to face with it this fast, before takeoff, on Christmas? She looks up. "Sir, this is my assigned seat." He scoffs with open disgust, letting his eyes scan her from head to toe as if she's an invader. "Well, isn't that something?" he mutters, not even trying to hide the bias. "A first-class ticket with your name on it? How cute. Did you print it at home? Borrow it? Steal it?" A few passengers gasp. Someone whispers, "Is he serious?" But no one steps in. This is the moment Ariana realizes, today, she will be tested in ways no teenager should be. Devereaux crosses his arms. "Show me your ID, and don't even try to lie. A girl like you doesn't just appear in first class, not without a story." Ariana's face warms. Anger, embarrassment, a sting she doesn't want to feel. She hands him her boarding pass and student ID. He barely glances before shaking his head dramatically. "Nope, not good enough. This ID looks like something you printed at a mall kiosk. And the last name? Holt? Please, try harder." Someone in row 2 shifts uncomfortably. Another records from behind a newspaper. But they all remain silent. Ariana inhales slowly. "Sir, I have the right ticket." He leans down, invading her space. "Oh, sweetheart, people like you always say that." He lets the venom sit, waiting for it to break her. It doesn't. Ariana stays still. Her stillness angers him more. Devereaux signals the flight attendant, who approaches nervously. He announces loudly enough for everyone to hear, "I believe this young lady has fraudulently obtained a first-class boarding document. Remove her from the seat for verification." Ariana's heart thuds. She knows exactly what this looks like. She is a black teen in a seat society assumes she could never afford. "Sir, please don't," she begins. He cuts her off. "Get up, now. Don't make this harder." The flight attendant tries to be gentle, whispering, "Just come with us for a moment. It's probably a misunderstanding." But Ariana knows better. This isn't about misunderstanding. This is about someone deciding who is allowed to be here and who is not. Passengers watch as she stands, phones discreetly lift. Someone murmurs, "This is wrong," but still, no one intervenes. As she steps into the aisle, Devereaux mutters under his breath, loud enough for her to hear, "First class on Christmas. You really thought you could fake your way through, huh?" She says nothing. Her silence is her shield. Devereaux walks behind her as she's led out of the cabin, making comments about criminal behavior, youths causing trouble, and special treatment culture. Every word is designed to shrink her. Ariana looks at the carpet as she walks down the aisle, her face burning from the humiliation of knowing dozens of eyes are judging her, assuming the worst. If they only knew who she truly was, if they knew the power she carried quietly, if they knew she had been raised to never announce it. But today, the truth will not stay hidden forever. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Ariana clings to that silence because stillness is all she has left until the moment everything flips. If you have ever been judged before anyone knew your worth, Then what happens next with Ariana will make your heart burn with both anger and hope. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices to follow her journey. As Ariana is escorted into the fluorescent hallway outside the cabin, the air marshal makes one final insult, unaware that the girl he's humiliating is the daughter of the man who controls the entire airline. The hallway outside the first-class cabin smells of jet fuel and holiday cinnamon from the nearby cafe, but none of its warmth reaches Ariana Holt as she stands there, arms folded, body tense, her boarding pass still clutched in her hand. Air Marshal Grant Devereaux stays close behind her, arms crossed like he's guarding a prisoner rather than a passenger. His presence fills the narrow space with an oppressive weight. "Well," he says loudly, enough for the few lingering passengers to hear, "here we are, removed from first class. Surprise, surprise. Happens when people try to play pretend in seats they can't afford." His tone is laced with sarcasm sharp enough to cut skin. "Must have been fun while it lasted, huh?" Ariana doesn't respond. Her silence only provokes him. "What's the matter?" he presses. "Not so confident now? Not so comfortable without the fancy seat propping you up?" A mocking laugh escapes him. "Kids like you always crumble the second someone asks a real question." The phrase "kids like you" hangs between them like a curse. He doesn't have to say more. He's already said enough. The flight attendant who let her out, Vanessa, early 30s, blonde hair pulled tight, stands nearby, clutching her tablet, avoiding Ariana's eyes. Vanessa's discomfort is clear, but she won't contradict a federal officer. She keeps choosing safety over courage. "Sir," Ariana says softly, "I answered every question. May I please return to my seat?" Devereaux steps closer, invading her space again, lowering his voice so only she hears. "Let me explain something. First class isn't for charity cases. It's not for, well, whatever story you're spinning." His eyes flick dismissively over her hoodie, her complexion, her youth. "So drop the act." Ariana lifts her chin. "There is no act." He smiles meanly. "Oh, sweetheart, everything about you is an act." Passengers passing through the jet bridge slow down, sensing tension, curious, whispering. Their glances scrape across Ariana's back as if confirming Devereaux's assumptions without ever speaking to her. She feels heat crawl up her neck, humiliation blooming like fire beneath her skin. The worst part isn't the insults, it's the absolute certainty in his eyes, the unwavering belief that she is exactly what he says she is. Vanessa finally speaks. "Marshal Devereaux, maybe we should verify her information with the gate or reservations before escalating." He cuts her off with a glare. "I don't need advice from cabin crew. I know a liar when I see one." Then to Ariana, "Hand me your phone, now, and don't even try to lock it." Ariana steps back. "You can't take my phone." "Oh, I can," he snaps. "I'm in charge of security on this aircraft, and you are presenting fraudulent documentation. You forfeited certain privileges the moment you stepped into that seat without authorization." "I did have authorization," Ariana insists, anger beginning to seep through her usually calm voice. "That was my seat." She doesn't realize her hands are shaking. She doesn't want him to see it. But Devereaux sees everything, except the truth. "And I'm the King of England," he scoffs. "Save it." He turns to Vanessa. "Call airport security. Let's get this girl properly processed." Ariana blinks. Processed, like she's contraband. Vanessa hesitates, frozen between duty and conscience. She doesn't pick up the phone yet, but she doesn't defend Ariana either. "Sir," Ariana says again, quieter but firmer, "I am telling the truth." "No," Devereaux replies coldly. "You're telling a story, and a sloppy one at that." He leans in once more. "First class, on Christmas. With a last name you can't even back up. People have been arrested for less." The venom is so deliberate, it almost feels practiced, and for the first time, Ariana feels a shiver, not of fear, but of clarity. He isn't questioning her. He has already decided who she is. Nothing she says will convince him otherwise, because his judgment was made the moment he saw her skin, her age, her hoodie. her existence in a place he believes isn't hers. A group of passengers begins to form at the mouth of the jet bridge, watching. Some whisper among themselves. Did she sneak in? She looks so young. That marshal must know something. The crowd's speculation is gasoline on the humiliation burning inside Ariana's chest. She feels her throat tighten, not with tears. She won't give him that satisfaction, but with a sinking realization that this moment is spiraling faster than she can stop it. Then, from deep inside herself, she hears her father's voice. When someone insults you, don't let them decide your character. Let God decide your strength. A quiet breath steadies her. A Bible verse she memorized years ago drifts to the surface. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Isaiah 43:2. She holds that verse like a hand in the dark. Devereaux motions sharply. Let's move. Security office. Now. But Ariana doesn't move. She looks him straight in the eye, her voice soft but unbreakable. Sir, I am not going anywhere until I speak to someone with actual authority. Her words land harder than she expects. For the first time, Devereaux's jaw tightens, not in confidence, but irritation, maybe even unease. Something in her tone tells him she isn't as powerless as she looks. He steps forward, about to grab her arm. And that is when a gate agent appears in the doorway, eyes wide, saying, Marshal, there's been a request from operations regarding this passenger. Operations, the one department no air marshal likes hearing from. Devereaux's brows knit. Operations? About her? The gate agent nods slowly. It's unusual. For the first time all morning, the marshal doesn't have an immediate answer. Ariana feels the shift. A small one, but a shift nonetheless. And the first crack in Devereaux's authority begins to show. The airport security office sits at the end of a long, echoing corridor, cold, metallic, and intentionally unfriendly. Ariana Holt walks toward it with the air marshal behind her, his footsteps pounding out a rhythm of control. Passengers passing by slow down, watching the scene unfold. A black teenage girl being marched through the terminal on Christmas morning by a federal officer who looks far too eager for the attention. Grant Devereaux keeps his voice intentionally loud. Let's go, sweetheart. You've wasted enough people's time today. First-class fraud on a holiday flight. Impressive creativity. I'll give you that. Ariana flinches, not because of the words, but because every traveler within 10 feet now stares at her like she's a criminal. A mother pulls her child closer. A businessman shakes his head in judgment. A woman whispers, such a shame. At her age. They don't know her name. They don't know her story. They only know the odd narrative being painted for them by a man with a badge. The humiliation is not private anymore. It is broadcast with every step. Inside the security office, fluorescent lights hum overhead. A metal table sits in the center. A camera in the corner tilts slightly, capturing everything. Devereaux gestures sharply at the chair. Sit. Ariana obeys, her hands folded in her lap, her posture straight even as the weight of the moment crushes her chest. Devereaux tosses her boarding pass onto the table with theatrical disdain. You know, he says, pacing, I've seen a lot of stunts, fake tickets, identity scams, sob stories. But you walked right into first class like you were born there. He laughs dryly. That's bold, almost admirable. Wrong, but admirable. I told you, Ariana says softly. It was my seat. And I told you, he snaps, leaning in close, that you don't get to decide what's yours. Ariana's throat tightens. She looks down at her hands, trying to breathe evenly. The humiliation is suffocating, but she refuses to let him see fear in her eyes. Another officer, this one TSA, enters the room. He looks at Ariana with confusion, then at the marshal. What exactly are we investigating? Fraudulent first-class boarding, Devereaux says confidently. Possibly stolen identity. We'll search her phone, bag, whatever we need. The TSA officer frowns. She's a minor. And? Devereaux fires back. And that means we follow procedure, the officer replies. We need parental consent or a supervisor. She doesn't have parents on record for this flight, Devereaux says smugly. Convenient, right? Ariana swallows hard. Her father is thousands of miles away. Her mother is gone. But she hears her father's voice from childhood, firm, warm. Your worth comes from God, not from anyone who tries to take it. A single Bible verse comes to her like a lifeline. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. She holds that sentence silently in her mind. Devereaux turns back to her, tapping the table. Let's start simple. Tell me who gave you the ticket. I earned it, Ariana answers. He rolls his eyes. Cute. But we're done playing pretend. So unless you want this to escalate to federal charges, start telling the truth. Federal charges. The words are meant to terrify her. For a moment, they almost do. But Ariana squares her shoulders. My name is Ariana Holt. That was my seat. That's the truth. Devereaux smirks with condescension that borders on cruelty. Holt? Really? Couldn't have picked a more believable name? Smith wasn't available? The TSA officer shifts uncomfortably. Marshal, maybe we should confirm her story before... Devereaux cuts him off. I'm conducting the interview, not you. Then he turns to Ariana, voice lowering to a venomous whisper. Girls like you gamble with lies, and then cry when the world doesn't buy it. Something inside her cracks. Not defeat, but resolve. He will not break her. He will not decide who she is. The door bursts open. Everyone turns. A gate agent, flushed and breathless, stands there holding a tablet. Marshal Devereaux, Operations Control needs you, immediately. A stutter slips into his voice, rare for him. Operations? About what? The agent hesitates. About her. Ariana lifts her head. Devereaux tries to recover his swagger. Operations doesn't get to dictate security. They do when the directive comes from the CEO-level channel. The agent replies carefully. The room stills. The TSA officer looks at Ariana again, suddenly uncertain. Devereaux's face twitches once, betraying a flicker of doubt before he masks it with irritation. A CEO-level directive? For her? That doesn't make sense. He laughs, but the sound is thin. Must be some system glitch. The gate agent shakes his head. They were very clear. You're to respond right now. Ariana watches him. For the first time, the marshal doesn't have full control. A crack appears in his certainty, small but unmistakable. He storms toward the door, pausing to glare back at her. This isn't over, he growls. But it is the first moment Ariana feels the air shift. Something enormous has begun moving behind the scenes. Something he does not understand. And she knows this humiliation, this crushing public degradation, is about to collide with a truth powerful enough to shake the entire airline. If you have ever been humiliated while telling the truth, then what happens next with Ariana will make every nerve in your body tighten. Don't forget to like and subscribe and stay with Dignity Voices to follow her story. As the Air Marshal marches reluctantly toward Operations Control, Ariana sits alone in the cold metal chair, unaware that the truth of who she is seconds from breaking the system wide open. The security room feels colder now that the shouting has stopped. Ariana sits alone at the metal table, staring at the boarding pass Devereaux tossed down as though it were evidence of a crime. Her humiliation still throbs like a bruise beneath her ribs, but the room itself is so quiet that her own breathing becomes the loudest sound. She folds her hands tightly. She can still hear Devereaux's voice echoing in her mind. Girls like you don't belong there. Even after he walked out, his contempt stayed behind. She closes her eyes. You cannot control who misjudges you, only who you become despite them. Her father had said that so many times it lived in her bones. Her phone sits in her pocket. The marshal never managed to seize it before operations called him away. Now its weight feels strange, like a choice she hasn't yet made. She hesitates, remembering her father's voice on a winter night long ago. If anything ever feels wrong in the air and you're on one of our flights, there's one number, one phrase. Use it only when absolutely necessary. It will move the system. This feels beyond wrong. This feels intentional. Her fingers tremble as she pulls out the phone. She scrolls to the stored contact. NorthStar Ops line, direct. Her heart knocks against her ribs. What if she's overreacting? What if she's causing trouble her father doesn't need? Then she remembers being marched through the terminal like a criminal. The stares, the whispers, the certainty in Devereaux's eyes that she was lying before she even spoke. No, he caused this. She presses the number. The phone rings once. NorthStar Operations Control, a calm voice answers. This line is restricted. Identify yourself. Ariana Holt, she says quietly. I'm a passenger on Flight 417. I was removed from first class by an Air Marshal who assumes my ticket is fraudulent. A long silence follows. Holt, the man repeats. His voice drops, formal now. Are you in physical danger? No, she whispers. Just treated like I don't exist. Where are you? In a security interview room, alone. Understood. Miss Holt, do you remember the phrase you were given? Ariana's breath catches. Yes. State it. She swallows. NorthStar Protocol 7. Passenger of record directly linked to executive seat. Priority escalation to CEO channel. She never thought she would say those words. Now they hang in the air like a fuse sparking. Keyboards clatter on the other end. Voices overlap. A chair scrapes. Someone says, "Get the CEO online." Another replies, "He's overseas but standing by." The operator returns, voice reverent. Miss Holt, escalation confirmed. Do not answer further questions from local security or the marshal. You will be contacted by leadership shortly. We are deeply sorry this has happened. The line clicks off. Ariana sets the phone down. Her humiliation is still fresh, but something inside her steadies, a stillness so sharp it almost feels like strength. For the first time since the confrontation began, she is not shrinking. She is waiting. The door opens. A man enters. Navy blazer, calm eyes. Malik Reyes, operations duty manager. He closes the door gently. Miss Holt? He asks. Yes. He pulls out a chair, sits across from her. His posture is respectful, steady. I was on the call that just came through, he says quietly. Your father has been notified. Ariana's breath trembles. Is he upset? He is. Malik considers his words. Extremely focused. A soft, almost broken laugh escapes her. That sounds like him. Malik nods. You followed protocol. You did the right thing. Before she can respond, the opposite door swings open. Marshal Devereaux strides back in, irritation radiating from him. Why is operations interfering with a fraud case? He demands. This is a simple situation. It is no longer simple, Malik interrupts, rising slowly. His tone is polite but edged with authority. Miss Holt is not to be questioned until executive oversight is present. Holt? Devereaux scoffs. Who cares? What makes this girl so... He turns toward Ariana, and she looks directly at him, not pleading, not afraid, not defeated, just still, composed, certain. A silence so sharp it cuts through the room. Her eyes say everything she doesn't voice. You judged me before you knew me. And the truth is already catching up. For the first time since the encounter began, Devereaux falters. His mouth opens, then closes. The certainty that fueled his arrogance flickers. Something in her expression makes him uneasy, an awareness he cannot explain. Ariana remains silent. The silence is stronger than anything she could shout. A Bible verse drifts quietly through her mind, soft as breath. In quietness and confidence shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:15. The verse settles into her chest like armor. Malik steps between them. Marshal, he says calmly, you'll receive further instructions soon. For now, stand by. Devereaux stiffens. This isn't over. Ariana doesn't look away. Her silence answers him better than words ever could. He leaves, the door slamming behind him with a frustration he can't disguise. Ariana exhales slowly. Malik gives her a small nod. What happens next, Miss Holt? We'll move very quickly. And for the first time since she boarded the plane, Ariana feels the balance shift. Not loudly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. The system has awakened, and the girl they tried to humiliate is no longer alone. The door to the operations conference suite slides shut behind Malik and Ariana, sealing out the noise of the terminal. Unlike the harsh interrogation room, this space feels controlled. Dim lights, muted screens, the low hum of systems monitoring every NorthStar flight in the air. Yet the atmosphere is tense. Every staff member inside stands a little straighter, speaks a little softer. Something massive is unfolding, and everyone feels it. Ariana sits at the end of a polished table, hands clasped in her lap. She feels small in the wide room, but not broken. Not anymore. Malik stands beside her, arms folded, eyes fixed on the main display. A secure video window flashes to life. The face on the screen appears, stern, sharp-eyed, dark-skinned, salt-and-pepper beard. Elias Holt, 52, CEO of NorthStar Airways. The man whose name sits beneath every plane door, printed in tiny letters few people ever notice. But Ariana notices. She always has. "Ariana," he says, voice steady but threaded with emotion he rarely shows. "Can you hear me?" She nods, throat tight. "Yes, Dad." He exhales, a controlled breath that sounds like a storm held back by force of will. "Are you safe?" "Yes," she whispers. "That is all that matters." Malik steps forward. "Mr. Holt, we have confirmed that your daughter was removed from first class by Air Marshal Devereaux on suspicion of fraud. She followed Protocol 7 exactly as instructed." Elias's face hardens. "And what were the Marshal's grounds?" Malik hesitates. "Personal judgment. No procedural cause." No one says the word bias, but it fills the room. Ariana watches her father's jaw tighten. He has built empires with that jawline, held boardrooms still with just a look. She has never seen that look directed at someone for something that happened to her. "Bring him in," Elias says. A pause. Malik steps to the door. Moments later, Air Marshal Grant Devereaux enters the room, stiff-backed and visibly irritated, until he realizes who is on the screen. His posture falters, just a fraction, but enough to betray him. "Marshal Devereaux," Elias says with chilling calm, "I want you to recount, in your own words, the reason you removed my daughter from her assigned first-class seat." A silence swallows the room. Devereaux blinks. "Your daughter?" He glances between Ariana and the screen, disbelief hollowing out his expression. He forces a laugh. "This must be a misunderstanding. I had no way of knowing—" "You didn't need to know who she was," Elias cuts in. "You only needed to follow procedure. Did you ask for a ticket scan? Passenger record verification? ID confirmation through the system?" Devereaux swallows. "I followed my instincts. She appeared—" He chokes on the rest of the sentence. Elias tilts his head. "She appeared what?" The marshal shifts. Sweat glints at his temple. "Out of place." A quiet gasp escapes one of the ops analysts. Ariana looks straight at Devereaux. She doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. Her silence is a mirror, reflecting exactly what he is. Elias's voice drops, low and resonant. "Your instincts degraded a minor passenger, violated our airline's civil conduct policies, and publicly humiliated my daughter. Yet you claim this was good judgment?" Devereaux steps back. "Sir, I was trying to protect the cabin." "From whom?" Elias asks. "From an honors student traveling to see her grandmother for Christmas? From your assumption of what a first-class passenger should look like?" Devereaux's lips part, but no words emerge. Elias looks at Ariana. For a brief moment, only a parent speaks. "I am so sorry, darling." Ariana feels something twist inside her. Relief, grief, love, all tangled. She whispers, "I'm okay." He nods once, proud of her strength. "You handled yourself with dignity, more than I can say for some adults in uniform." He turns back to Devereaux. "Effective immediately. You are suspended from all NorthStar flights pending investigation. You are removed from active marshal rotation. You will surrender your badge before leaving the terminal." Devereaux stares, stunned. You can't... Elias's command sharpens. This is not punishment. This is accountability. What you did today was a violation of judgment and human decency. Ariana watches the marshal crumble in on himself. Not theatrically, not loudly, but in the quiet way people do when the illusion of superiority dissolves. She does not gloat. She does not smile. She simply sits in stillness, the way her father once taught her. A Bible verse rises softly in her chest, a reminder of calm amid upheaval. For the Lord loves justice and will not forsake his faithful ones. Psalm 37:28. Her eyes glisten, but she does not drop her gaze. Elias continues, voice measured but unshakable. We will review every recording, every witness account, every procedural misstep. NorthStar will not tolerate discriminatory profiling. Not today. Not ever. He turns back to Ariana, gentler now. I've instructed ops to take care of you. You'll fly home today, properly. She nods slowly. She feels seen, protected, but also responsible for something bigger than herself. Dad, she whispers, I didn't want to start trouble. He smiles faintly. You didn't start trouble. His expression hardens again. You revealed it. The screen fades to black. Ariana sits there, breathing slowly, letting the moment settle. Malik places a reassuring hand on the table, near her arm, not touching, just present. What happens next, he tells her, will change a lot more than one flight. She nods. For the first time today, she believes him. If you've ever waited for truth to finally speak your name, then what happens next with Ariana will move you deeply. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices to witness the justice that follows. As Devereaux is escorted out and the airline mobilizes its response, NorthStar's most powerful internal system awakens, the protocol designed for catastrophic failures. And today it recognizes the failure was not mechanical, but moral. The Operations Control Center, known internally as the Bridge, is normally a sanctuary of quiet precision. Rows of screens track every aircraft in NorthStar's fleet. Weather patterns sweep across digital maps. Automated alerts blink softly like distant stars. But today, the room is different. Today, a silent emergency hangs in the air. Ariana steps into the bridge with Malik beside her. Dozens of eyes rise and fall quickly, some in recognition, some in disbelief. A teenager escorted into ops is unheard of. A teenager escorted after a direct CEO escalation borders on myth. Malik guides her to a side platform overlooking the command floor. Stand here, he whispers gently. You need to witness this. Ariana nods, her breath trembling as she looks over the sea of screens. On the central wall, a notification pulses red. Protocol 7. Active exit. Override. Holt. A murmur ripples through the room. People straighten. Supervisors lean in. Analysts murmur updates under their breath. Ariana watches wide-eyed as the entire center shifts its posture subtly, like a gigantic machine waking from sleep. A senior controller steps to the intercom. All departments, prepare for routing hold review. Repeat, routing hold review. Freeze non-essential ground movements on all NorthStar flights. A freeze. A system-wide pause. Ariana grips the railing. Is this because of me? She whispers. Malik doesn't answer immediately. He watches the room instead, the controlled flurry of people now executing tasks with military precision. It's because of what was done to you, he replies, and what it represents. On another screen, live feeds flicker. Gate cameras, terminal concourses, internal security channels. Ariana sees the Air Marshal being quietly escorted through a side hallway by airport police. His shoulders sag, his eyes darting as if searching for someone to blame. He thought she was powerless. He thought no one would believe her. He thought his badge made him untouchable. He thought wrong. Ariana looks away. Malik signals to a technician. Show Miss Holt the chain of command report. A screen in front of her expands, displaying the timeline. 08:47 a.m. Passenger Holt removed from first class. 08:51 a.m. Marshal report logged. 09:04 a.m. Unverified accusations flagged. 09:06 a.m. Passenger Holt initiates protocol. 7. 09:07 a.m. CEO override engaged. 09:09 a.m. Ops escalation global. 09:12 a.m. Routing hold review activated. 9 minutes. In 9 minutes, the airline shifted from routine to emergency posture. Ariana feels both overwhelmed and strangely small. I didn't mean for all this to happen, she whispers. Malik shakes his head. This didn't happen because you asked for it. It happened because the system recognized a failure in itself. He turns her gently so she faces him. This isn't about punishing one Marshal. This is about correcting a culture that allowed someone with authority to humiliate a child without evidence. His gaze softens. You didn't break anything. You revealed what was already cracked. The words settle over her like a blanket, heavy but comforting. An older woman with silver hair approaches them. Ariana recognizes her from news articles. Dr. Helena Ward, NorthStar's Chief Integrity Officer. Ariana, she says warmly, I've heard so much about your character over the years. I only wish we were meeting under better circumstances. Ariana flushes. Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Ward's expression turns grave. I've reviewed the initial recordings. What you endured was unacceptable, not just personally, but ethically, procedurally, and morally. She nods toward the operations floor. This protocol is not retribution. It is a safeguard. Your father designed it for any moment when leadership needed to confront a systemic breakdown. Ariana blinks. I didn't know that. You weren't supposed to. Dr. Ward smiles sadly. Children shouldn't have to know about systems protecting them from injustice. A soft beep cuts through their conversation. A supervisor calls out, Integrity Review Team online. Badge suspension confirmed. Marshal Devereaux placed on full administrative hold pending investigation. Across the room, analysts pull up bias logs, boarding data, performance audits. Everything Devereaux has touched, every passenger report, every onboard intervention, every flagged incident unfolds across screens like a tapestry of hidden patterns. Ariana watches, stunned. Are they investigating him because of me? Yes, Dr. Ward answers, but not only because of you. You were the moment the pattern became undeniable. As they speak, another intercom activates. All flights in pre-departure phase entering temporary delay pending leadership clearance. Estimated hold time, 10 minutes. A global pause, for her, for the truth. The thought both humbles and unnerves her. An emotional weight rises in her chest. Too big for all the humiliation and fear she felt earlier. Too heavy for a 16-year-old to hold alone. Then she feels it, the quiet presence of something steadier than all this. A Bible verse from childhood threads through her heart. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. Psalm 37:6. Ariana breathes deeply, and the humiliation that once felt suffocating now feels distant, dissolving under the steady glow of truth rising. Malik touches her shoulder lightly. You'll fly home soon, he assures her. Your father wants you treated with the dignity you deserved from the start. A tear slips down her cheek, not of pain, but release. What happens to him? She asks quietly. Dr. Ward answers with measured firmness. He will face the consequences of every choice he made today, and perhaps choices he made long before. Justice is not vengeance, Ariana. It is restoration. She nods slowly. Across the room, screens blink green as departments sync with the protocol. The system is stabilizing, recalibrating, renewing. It is no longer the airline that humiliated her. It is the airline that is rebuilding itself because of her. A young intern nearby whispers, not knowing she can hear, "She's the CEO's daughter?" Another replies softly, "No. She's the girl who just changed the airline." Ariana closes her eyes. The words settle somewhere deep inside. The next hour unfolds like a slow-moving earthquake, quiet on the surface, catastrophic beneath. Ariana stands beside Malik on the observation deck overlooking the bridge, watching the airline she has known her whole life rearrange itself in real time. On the massive central screen, the words integrity, review, active flash in amber. Dozens of analysts work in synchronized urgency, their fingers dancing over keyboards as layers of data peel open. Marshal activity logs, passenger complaints, bias-related flags, crew reports, camera footage, internal audits from years past. A digital web of Devereaux's record blooms across the wall. One analyst whispers to another, "Look at the pattern." Another replies, "How did no one catch this sooner?" Ariana's heart clenches. It wasn't just her. She was simply the one who triggered the alarm. Malik leans close, speaking softly. This is what systemic failure looks like when light finally hits it. A supervisor turns from her desk. Ops Director Reyes, we've located 5 prior incidents involving Marshal Devereaux over the last 5 years, all dismissed before formal review. A hush settles. It's the kind of silence that means truth is about to break something open. Cross-reference his flight assignments with demographic patterns, Malik says. Within seconds, another analyst calls out, 4 out of 5 incidents involved passengers of color. A ripple of anger moves through the room, quiet, professional, but unmistakable. Ariana feels it like heat radiating from the walls. Then the large screen shifts again. Media. Alert inquiry. Pending news outlets have started noticing the sudden flight delays. Social media posts from witnesses in first class are beginning to circulate. Ariana sees a live stream replay from a passenger, shaky phone footage of Devereaux gripping her arm, marching her out of the cabin, muttering about fraud and kids like this. Her stomach twists. Malik quickly taps the screen to dim the feed. You don't need to watch that. But she already saw enough to know. The humiliation that felt so private was never private at all. The room lights dim slightly as another secure channel opens. Dr. Helena Ward re-enters the bridge, her expression grave but resolute. We've established a preliminary finding, she announces. Marshal Devereaux's removal of Miss Holt was not based on protocol, procedure, or evidence. It was based on personal assumption shaped by bias. A murmur passes through the staff. Dr. Ward continues. This failure belongs not only to one marshal, but to the oversight structures that allowed such unchecked behavior. A grim truth settles over the room. This is no longer an incident. This is a reckoning. Ariana steps closer to the railing, fingers gripping the cool metal as she watches the system confront itself. Malik glances at her, reading her expression. This is hard to watch, isn't it? It is, she whispers. But it's harder to imagine how many others were treated like I was, without anyone believing them. He nods quietly. That's why today matters. A Bible verse floats into her thoughts, wrapping around her heart like a soft shield. For nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest. Luke 8:17. She breathes it in. Today, the hidden became visible. A notification chimes. Marshal Devereaux. Official statement. Pending a private conference room feed opens on one of the side screens. Ariana sees Devereaux sitting at a table, pale, rigid, his badge placed in front of him. 2 federal supervisors stand behind him. A legal representative delivers a summary of charges under review: misconduct, procedural violation, discriminatory profiling. He looks nothing like the man who dragged her through the jet bridge. The weight of consequence has stripped him of his swagger. Ariana doesn't smile, not once. This isn't triumph over a person. It's truth overtaking a lie. Dr. Ward steps beside Malik. We're issuing a public statement soon. Miss Holt will not be named unless her family approves it, but the airline will acknowledge fault. Ariana blinks, startled. You're apologizing? Not to save face, Dr. Ward says, because apology without accountability is emptiness. But apology with reform, that can rebuild trust. A message flashes. All NorthStar Marshal partnerships temporarily suspended mandatory procedural retraining, effective immediately. A junior analyst whispers, "This is historic." Another answers, "It took a 16-year-old girl to make this happen." Ariana lowers her gaze. overwhelmed. She never wanted to bring an airline to its knees. She only wanted to get home to her grandmother. She only wanted one thing, to be treated like she belonged in the seat she paid for. A vibration buzzes in Ariana's pocket. A message from her father. Proud of you. I'm with you every second. Tears prick her eyes. Malik notices. You okay? She nods. Just processing. He gestures to the screen showing news feeds. It's happening fast. But whatever comes next, you didn't start this collapse. You simply refused to lie down under it. Ariana exhales slowly. She feels something rising in her. Not anger, not pride, but clarity. This collapse is not destruction. It is rebuilding. A siren tone sounds softly, an internal chime used only during executive transitions. The main screen goes black for a moment, then a message appears. Leadership address scheduled. 12-minute statement regarding aviation accountability. Dr. Ward turns to Ariana. Your father will speak on behalf of the airline. NorthStar will change after today. Ariana nods, steadying herself. She looks once more toward the room. The analysts typing, the screens flickering, the patterns revealing themselves. She sees the collapse of arrogance, the dismantling of unchecked authority, the quiet rising of truth. For the first time since she boarded that plane, she feels something new. Not humiliation, not fear, but purpose. The system that once crushed her is now reshaping itself because she refused to disappear into silence. The sun is beginning to set when Ariana finally steps back into the terminal. The golden light spills across polished floors, catching on winter decorations and casting long shadows of travelers hurrying toward their Christmas destinations. Hours have passed, but the world outside the operations center is strangely calm, as if the chaos that shook an entire airline never touched this side of the airport. Malik walks beside her, carrying nothing but a tablet and a gentle, protective presence. Your new flight starts boarding soon, he says. And you'll be escorted. Not for security, but for dignity. Ariana nods, her heart full and heavy at once. The events of the day feel unreal. She's still wearing the same sky blue hoodie, but she is not the same girl who boarded that earlier flight. They approach Gate 38, her reissued flight home. A small group of NorthStar employees stand there, including Dr. Ward, the station manager, and several flight attendants. They're not here for show. They stand with the solemn posture of people determined to correct what was wrong. The station manager, a tall woman with kind eyes, bows her head slightly. Miss Holt, on behalf of NorthStar Airways, we offer you our deepest apology. Ariana swallows. Thank you. This will not happen again, the woman adds. Because of you, our policies are changing. Passengers nearby glance over, sensing something significant but keeping a respectful distance. Ariana feels exposed, but not in the way she did earlier. This is different. This is acknowledgement, not accusation. Dr. Ward steps forward. Your father will make his leadership address in 10 minutes. Would you like to watch before boarding? Ariana hesitates. She isn't sure she wants to relive everything, but Malik gives a small nod, encouraging, not pressuring. She whispers, okay. A portable display is turned toward her. The NorthStar logo fills the screen before fading into an image of her father. Elias Holt stands behind a podium in a quiet office, not the showy kind used for press releases. This one is intimate, sincere. My fellow passengers, team members, and partners, he begins, voice deep and measured. Today, a grievous failure occurred on our airline. A minor passenger was profiled, humiliated, and removed from her rightful seat because of assumptions and bias, not because of evidence, protocol, or truth. Ariana's chest tightens. Elias continues, this failure is not the fault of one man. It reflects cracks in our system and in our culture that must be repaired from the ground up. His hands clasp the podium. His eyes soften. That passenger was my daughter. A few passengers around the gate gasp quietly. People look at her now, not with judgment, but astonishment, sympathy, respect. She did not reveal who she was, Elias says. She believed she should be treated fairly without her name buying her dignity. She was right. No passenger should need influence or lineage to be treated as human. Ariana feels tears prick her eyes. Malik steps subtly closer, ready if she needs support. Elias finishes with a steady breath. As CEO, I take responsibility. As a father, I am grateful she was strong. And as a leader, I promise our changes will not be cosmetic. They will be structural. The screen fades out. Ariana lets out a tremulous breath. He sounded different. He sounded like a man who realized something precious was hurt. Dr. Ward says softly, and something broken needed to be rebuilt. Boarding begins. Ariana is invited first, not because she is the CEO's daughter, but because she has been bruised enough today. She walks down the jet bridge with Malik at her side. This time, no one doubts she belongs. No one questions her name. No one glares or whispers or records her humiliation. Instead, a flight attendant greets her with a warm, respectful smile. Miss Holt, we're honored to have you. Please let us know if you need anything at all. Ariana steps into first class again. The same cabin, the same seats, but none of the same pain. She sits in seat 1A, the seat she paid for, the seat she deserved, the seat she never should have been forced to leave. She sinks into it slowly, almost reverently, feeling the truth of the moment settle around her. Not victory, no. Something quieter, healing. Passengers file in behind her, some offering small, encouraging smiles. One whispers, "Good for you." Another says, "You handled that with grace." Ariana nods politely, humbled by their kindness. She places her hand on the armrest, letting the familiar hum of the plane's systems vibrate beneath her fingers. The soft mechanical whir reminds her of childhood trips with her father, learning to spot aircraft types, listening to him talk about safety and fairness and responsibility. Responsibility. That word feels bigger now. The plane pushes back from the gate, rolling toward the runway. The sunset deepens into warm gold outside her window. Ariana leans her forehead against the cool glass. Below, runway lights blur into streaks of white and amber. Above, the sky dims toward violet. And in that quiet moment, with the engines rising beneath her and the weight of the day settling into memory, she whispers to herself, "I am still here." The humiliation did not win. The system did not bury her. Truth rose, justice echoed, grace stayed. As the aircraft lifts into the air, Ariana watches the city fall away beneath her. Soft, distant, peaceful. A bridge between what was and what will be. A final verse comes to her, steady and gentle. But let justice roll down like waters, and righteousness like a mighty stream. Amos 5:24. She smiles, small but real. Christmas lights sparkle across the earth far below as she rises toward home. If this story moved you, let it remind you of a truth we all know, but too often forget. Dignity is not a privilege, it is a right. Ariana's journey isn't just about a teenage girl and an airline. It is about every person who has ever been misjudged, profiled, embarrassed, or dismissed before they had a chance to speak their truth. Her story teaches us that quiet strength can change systems, and grace can carry us farther than anger ever will. The Bible tells us that God's justice flows like a mighty river, and sometimes that river begins with a whisper, a single voice refusing to disappear into silence. Ariana didn't fight with revenge. She didn't shout. She stood, endured, spoke when necessary, and trusted that the truth would rise. And it did. If you have ever been overlooked, underestimated, or treated as though you didn't belong, then Ariana's story is a reminder. God sees you, justice is real, and dignity always returns. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with Dignity Voices for more stories of courage, justice, and quiet power. Let this journey strengthen your heart and remind you of the God who stands beside the brokenhearted, lifting them higher than they ever expected to rise.